These are a little tricky, okay? So, but what they are is just long. So we just have to just be patient and go step by step. The first thing I'm always going to look for, if I have something inside parentheses, is can it be simplified? And here the answer is yes. Okay, so I'm going to simplify what's here. So I'm not going to do the 3, right? I'm just bringing that over. Look, 3 over 4, that can't be simplified. This a to the 5th over a to the 2nd, that can be, right? There's 5 a's on top, 2 on the bottom, 2 get canceled. I'm left with 3 on top. Here I have 1b on the top, 3 on the bottom, 1 gets canceled, and I'm left with 2 on the bottom. Now this 3 applies to each of it, each piece, okay? So, right, this is going to be, you could write it out. I could write out, look, I'm not going to, but look, I could write this out. So look, here's a shortcut. If you get confused, I'm going to write it out one time and then just write it like this so I can visualize. Oh, this is 3. This is going to be, look, this is going to be 3 times 3 times 3. That's 27. That's the same as 3 to the 3rd power. This is a times a times a, 3 times. That's going to be 9 a's, right? That's going to be 3 a's 9 times. Look, that's multiplying the exponents. This is going to be 4 times 4 times 4. That's 64. And b times b times b times b times b times b, that's b to the 6th. Okay? So notice what I did. This is like a little bit of a shortcut. Like I didn't write it all the way out. That would have been like a lot of writing, kind of annoying. But I did write it out enough for me to like visualize it, right? You could also just use the shortcuts here. Okay. Oh boy. Negative exponents can feel tricky. So what I like to do if I get a problem like this is right away get rid of the negative exponents. How do I do that? I put them where they belong. Okay. So what does that mean? That means if I have a negative exponent, I move it in the fraction. So let's just start. We're just going to go step by step. I'm going to go across the top first. So this 5, that 5 doesn't have a negative exponent. It stays. Okay? This x to the negative 5th has a negative exponent, so that's going to go to the bottom and become positive. This y has a negative exponent. That's going to go to the bottom and become positive. Now let's go to the bottom. The 7 does not have a negative exponent. It stays. Okay? The x squared does not have a negative exponent. It stays. The y to the negative 3rd, that does have a negative exponent. It's going to move and become positive, okay? Now I can simplify. So here's my fraction. The 5 and the 7, there's nothing to simplify. Let's see what happens with the x's. There's 5 x's and 2 more x's all on the bottom, so those just become 7 x's on the bottom, right? That's x times x times x times x times x times x times x, all on the bottom. Now what happens with the y's? There's 3 y's on top and 2 on the bottom, right? So that's just this. And I'm left with 1 y on top. And here's my answer. Okay? Notice I like to deal with those negative exponents first. I just moved them all first, and then I simplified everything else. Okay? Oy. So here's another negative exponent. Look, this is a lot. There's a negative here. Now look, this is not a negative exponent. It's just a negative number. Okay? And then there's this negative exponent on the outside. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to get rid of that negative exponent on the outside first by just flipping this whole thing to the bottom. Now look, that negative became positive because I put it in the right spot. Now, I'm going to apply this. So this is negative 3 squared. That's negative 3 times negative 3. That's positive 9. This is negative 4 times 2. That's negative 8. Okay, this is 2 times 2. That's 4. And then finally, I see this is in the wrong spot. I'm going to move it. Okay, now look. The 9 doesn't move, and the p to the 4th doesn't move. Those don't have negative exponents. But that n to the 8th, that's in the wrong spot, and it moves to the top. Okay, last one. Here we go. Same as I did here. I don't like that negative exponent on the outside. I'm going to take the whole thing. Okay, I'm going to flip it over first. Okay, now there's going to be a lot of flipping to do here. I'm going to flip the whole thing over first. I'm literally going to copy exactly what's there. Okay, now this is not the only way to do it, but this is how I like to do it. And then I'm going to make that positive. Okay, so I did that. Now I'm going to move stuff. Okay, so I'm going to keep this. I'm going to keep this. I'm not applying that yet. I'm going to do that last. Okay, I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to do it last. But look, I'm going to just go through. The 8 doesn't have a negative exponent. It stays. Okay, the z does have a negative exponent. It moves. Okay, this is a z. It has a negative. It's moving to the bottom because it has negative. Now it's positive on the bottom. Okay, down here, the 3 stays. The k stays. the m moves. It has a negative exponent, so it moves to the other side of the fraction and becomes positive. Whew. Now I'm going to square it. So this is 8 squared, that's 64. This is 3m's 2 times, that's a total of 6m's. This is 3 squared, that's 9. This is 5k's 2 times, that's 10k's. And this is 2z's 2 times, that's 4z's. Okay? Notice what I didn't do. I didn't try to do 2 steps at once. Please don't. Like, it's too much. Okay? Do one thing at a time. Look, here, I flipped it. That's the only thing I did. I just flipped it and made this positive. Next, I just only looked at the negative exponents on the inside, and I moved the stuff that had negative exponents. I moved this and this. Okay? Then I squared everything. Okay? I did it as separate steps so that I didn't lose track of any of the pieces.